Welcome everybody. This is Andres Wi-Fi TV. We are here live in Crypto OGs episode number 4. I'm very happy because I have a very special guest today. He is not only one of the most well-connected people in Web3, but also he has bring the biggest deals into Web3 as in terms of partnerships. You probably have heard of him, and if you haven't, today is the day that you will, because I have my good friend Milan Amin. How are you, Milan?
What's going on, everybody? Incredibly excited to be here today. Thank you so much, Andreas, for having me. I'm Milan. I'm the ex-global head of brand partnerships for Binance. Incredibly happy to share some thought leadership, education, advice with you all today. Look forward to seeing your comments and what we can do together.
I love your energy, Milan. I love your name. Everybody was asking me in the previous live that we have before this one, like, where is Milan? What happened with Milan? Where is he from? I need to know more. Who is the guy that brought Cristiano Ronaldo into Web3? The Weeknd, Khaby Lame, the Grammys. Actually, I went to the Grammys because of you. Thank you so much for that, my friend. Cannes Festival. Basically the biggest celebs and the biggest social media influencers. But the purpose of crypto is everybody see the uphill. Everybody think it's easy, that they see this life that they think is okay. You probably bought Bitcoin when it was $100 and then you become millionaire. But crypto OGs is not about this. It's about bringing talent into the podcast so they understand what is the path of a crypto OG. And normally start for most of us with two bear markets. This is my second bear market, probably for you as well, Milan.
Yeah.
But let's talk about 2016 and 17. Let's talk about the Milan when you start to know about crypto. When was this? When was the first day? How you heard about crypto? It was Bitcoin, it was Ethereum. Tell us about the first approach to cryptocurrency in your life.
Yeah, no, sure. Thank you so much for that question, Andres. That's a great question. Just before I do that, I want to give a couple of minutes background into myself because that will explain how I transitioned into crypto. So I started off at 23, very, very early in my career, and I built a mobile app, which was a fitness mobile app, which I grew to hundreds of thousands of followers, which then sold onto an American company. And because I always understood growth, and crypto is synonymous with growth, I then went on to be a travel vlogger. So I vlogged for some of the biggest hotel chains, the biggest airlines in the world, and grew my own Instagram to hundreds of thousands of followers. I then launched a podcast called The Notorious Hustlers, where I interviewed billionaires, New York Times best-selling authors, and some of the biggest CEOs around the world. And crypto kept being this name which kept being dropped. And sort of way back in 2016, 2017, I decided to take all my skills and experience of marketing, growth hacking, guerrilla marketing, and all the experience that I had to grow companies and bring them under one roof. So I joined as the chief marketing officer of a crypto company towards the end of 2016, beginning of 2017. And that is when I really got involved in crypto. I'm going to be honest, initially I was a little bit skeptical. I was hesitant. I wasn't sure. It definitely wasn't mainstream. But through the power of guerrilla marketing, I realized the tremendous momentum that the crypto industry had. And we did an ICO back then, and through I got some of the most famous people in the world at the time to retweet some of our project. And we raised over $20 million in approximately 4 days for that project. And at that moment, I knew that people were really serious. They were prepared to put money behind these incredible projects. And that's when I fundamentally started in crypto. And since then, my journey has progressed gradually until I joined Binance a couple of years ago.
I'm here, Milan. I just trying to go back on the stage.
Sure, no worries.
Oh, Milan, this is amazing. So you spent this in literally 2 minutes, all your journey into crypto. But let's bounce a little bit back because this part is very interesting because you did the best deals in the world until today for
Yeah.
for Web3, and you joined crypto, but you joined from the social media side. And I think so most of the people, I did it the other way around, Milan. I was in crypto. I left crypto for a couple of months. I joined social media, and then I was sucked back into crypto. And now I'm merging the two things I like the most, that Web3 and social media. But let's talk about your path as living that part of part of influencer, doing influencer marketing campaigns
Yeah,
and stuff. And you mentioned something that you were a bit skeptical
yeah,
about crypto.
yeah.
What was that turning point that you say, okay, this industry is going to change. I need to jump now, or I'm going to be left behind. What was that thing that made you like change 360 degrees and say, I'm all into crypto? That's what I'm saying. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, I think first of all, you have to fundamentally realize that the current system is broken. Living in the UK, we are seeing record levels of inflation, record levels of interest rates right now. I actually, the turning point for me, Andreas, was when I looked back at the financial system as we knew it. And I really started to understand money. What is money, right? And when you try and understand money, you realize that back in the day, money was backed by gold, but and so we knew that there was some degree of quantifiability with actual money. But here's the thing: as we've continued throughout the years, we've discovered more and more gold. Now if you accumulate all of the money in the world, you start to realize that it's just numbers on a screen. All of the money in the world that is numbers on a screen is not directly linked to the amount of gold in the world, because we never know how much gold there is in the world. And so I started to realize that money wasn't actually based fundamentally on a concrete topic or a concrete, tangible product. And that started to raise questions for me. Then, when I looked at blockchain and when I looked at Bitcoin, I started to understand, and this is a big misconception because people feel that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency doesn't have any value. But when you really think about it, it actually does, because it can be used for payment, international payments around the world. It can be used for many payment gateways now. Even businesses all around the world are starting to use it. It is traceable, trackable. Everything is stored on the blockchain, so it is very, very transparent. And I started to realize that, hold on, there is some merit here. And the other beauty is that Bitcoin, there is only 21 million Bitcoins in the world. Whereas if someone said to you right now, Andres, how much gold is there in the world? You actually don't know, because it could be hidden in some mine that hasn't been discovered yet. And so the intangibility of money as we know it started to raise a lot of questions for me. And then the more I looked into crypto, I said, hold on a minute, we need a system which is very transparent and which is sustainable, but most importantly, scalable in the long run. A system which is not controlled by the banks or the governments or these types of institutions. And so as the world becomes more decentralized through globalization, I think that cryptocurrency is the way forward, and that is when the massive turning point happened for me.
That's amazing. So basically, well, most of us we have to learn, well, the hard way about the finance system. And I think so. It was when crypto came to our life that we realized that the financial system or the fiat system is not what we thought is not what we
Exactly.
were told when we were little,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
especially. So you're from England, United Kingdom, So
That's great.
my wife is from here as well, and I've been living here for a long time ago. I understand. For example, from Latin America. Latin America people take more risk,
Yeah.
people, because the minimum wage is $180 a month. So
Right.
people need to hustle more, either
Yeah.
you're an engineer, a doctor, or whatever, and you have to study so many years to get to a certain point of life. And in Colombia, for example, people adopt more cryptocurrency. Like the number 10, when I go to Colombia, like all my friends, they're now using cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
But now let's talk about culture, because you have done so many deals. You have worked with Binance, that is as a global company,
Yeah.
But let's talk about culture, because this part is very interesting. About you are from UK, I'm from Colombia, living here, but also you travel the world. As a traveler, you met so many cultures. So in your career in crypto, in the corporate side, what did you see any difference in about how people perceive money or cryptocurrency when you talk to them?
Yeah.
um, what was the advantage or disadvantage to know the culture in that point to close some of the biggest deals that you have done in Web3?
No, that's a brilliant question. I believe that for the first time we saw a shift. As we grew up, especially in the UK, you are doctrined into thinking that having a great career and working in a great bank or working in a great institution will, to some degree, give you financial freedom. But then when you look on the Forbes billionaire list and millionaire list, a lot of people are college dropouts. So you think to a second, hold on a minute, if this actual system worked, you know, then why are some of the richest people in the world not people who have followed the system? And so there's always a glass ceiling, within the UK as to how much money you'll ever be able to reach in your career. And it's similarly in less developed countries around the world, there is a certain degree of conformity to what options are available. But the beauty of crypto is that it gives power to the people because it's fully decentralized. I know people in India who are developing NFTs who've become literally millionaires because they decided to take on Web3. And it was a bit of an olive branch to these people because it gave them a route out of the conformity of social perception, the conformity of what they were governed to believe was possible for them and their life. And different people around the world treat crypto differently, but the beauty of crypto is that because of globalization you realize how small the world actually is, and it gives, if I'm totally honest with you, a bit more of a level playing field to the people around the world to have access to a financial system which was beyond their control when they were growing up. And I think that because that power is being taken away from the governments, the banks, the institutions, it is being given more to the people. I think fundamentally that gives a higher degree of freedom to the people to enable them to do what they want. And I think that is the power of crypto. And that's why it brings so many people together from all sorts of backgrounds and cultures. And for me, it's incredibly fascinating when I travel the world to understand how crypto is helping schools in a remote part of the world, to how it is helping the biggest corporations in the world bring Web3, or the biggest celebrities bring Web3 to their users. And so, the power dynamics are beautiful, whether, you're starting small and in a very remote part of the world, or whether you're starting big in a bigger part of the world, because the access to people, especially thanks to platforms such as Binance, are tremendous. And I think that is what really brings the people of crypto together.
And you mentioned something like from the small countries, people taking initiatives to develop blockchain projects or
Yeah.
cryptocurrency projects, but also to big corporations, to big hedge funds, to big banks also, and to big governments to also adopting their many years of bureaucracy into Web3, which I find fascinating. And you mentioned also, obviously, you work for Binance for more than 2
Nearly 2
years,
years. Nearly 2
nearly
years.
3 years.
Yeah.
Tell us about the experience, because many people here is obviously in Binance life, and they're watching also on LinkedIn and Twitter. So let's talk about Binance, because it's the biggest Web3 company in the entire planet right now in the world. They are growing so fast. I was tweeting today in my crypto quiz, like they opened 2 offices in Binance in Brazil. They got approval from New Zealand they got approval in New Zealand as well to operate there. They're moving really fast. We saw also in France, like you and me, that's how we met, by the way. I met
Yeah.
Milan in the 5 years anniversary of Binance, which was an amazing event. So let's talk about Binance, because it played a big role in your crypto career. Nearly
Yeah.
70% of your life in crypto has been into Binance.
Yeah.
So how was at the beginning? Like you were doing social media, then you mentioned it very very quick how you ended up working as the brand, the people that was in charge of the branding of Binance. Tell us how you start. You just apply, and then you say maybe I get the job, and then how was your first day at the work, and then how everything changed until the last day. Yeah, tell us a little bit more about the people that
Sure.
is interested to apply for a career there.
Yeah. So, but Binance is an incredible place to work, and in my career, it has probably been the best place that I have ever worked. Before I joined Binance, I was actually headhunted by someone who approached me and said, "Hey, look, we know you have some experience within crypto." And even bearing in mind, 2 years ago, Binance was just turning 3 years old, so it was still, I believe, in its infancy. I think, if I'm not mistaken, when I joined, there was less than 1,000 people there. And so I got headhunted for the role because of my previous experience within crypto. And when I joined Binance, I actually joined as the head of growth marketing for the UK markets. And as I progressed through Binance, I started leading some of the performance marketing efforts across Europe and India. And then approximately just over a year ago, I started and was one of the founding members of the global brand team. And the brand team had one objective. We wanted to associate with some of the biggest celebrities in the world because we believe that we are the biggest and best to exchange. And I can honestly tell you from working in Binance that it truly is one of the most fantastic companies I've worked with. And I'm not just saying that because I'm ex Binance or we're on Binance Live. The beauty of Binance is firstly the people from all around the world that I got to meet, the events that they hold that really show you, wow, there are so many employees all around the world that are working, you know, tremendously hard on incredible projects. You realize that the community is there. When you wear a Binance t-shirt, you wear it proudly. Whenever I wear this t-shirt on the street or I'm in an aeroplane, people stop me and say, wow, you work for Binance. I've never ever seen anything like that in my life. It's like, probably what Goldman Sachs or one of these companies was back in the day. But above all, Binance are some of the smartest people that I have ever worked with in my life across so many different remits. And Binance is a very meritocratic environment. So the harder you work, the better ideas that you have, you're going to rise to the top very, very quickly. But the beauty of Binance is that unlike many companies I've worked with in the past, where they have budget restrictions or they don't really allow you to have that freedom and flexibility, Binance rewards you based on your passion. And so if you have an idea and if you have a concrete strategy and you have a concrete roadmap in terms of how you're going to bring it to fruition, the Binance community and the Binance leadership team are always incredibly supportive of that. And it is how we've managed to do some of the biggest deals in the world, because doing these deals was not easy. It was always a bit of a challenging task. But when you work with some of the smartest people in the world, when you work with a leadership that has a vision, it is unquestionable why Binance is the fastest growing in the world, because they're very clear on their vision, they're adaptable, they're malleable. And survival these days is not about the fittest. Survival these days is about who is the most adaptive and who is going to help you support, help you grow the fastest. And I think Binance ticks all of the right boxes. So I would highly recommend to anyone, if you are considering a career in Binance, that it will be incredibly rewarding.
That's amazing. That's something that you said, a couple of points that what you just mentioned, Milan, about the t-shirt. Actually, the t-shirt, I have about 20 t-shirts from Binance. By the way, people ask me how I get this. Can I buy somewhere? You get given based on you go to an event or you participate in something, they're given that you
Yeah,
earn it. You
yeah,
cannot pay for the t-shirts or the merch.
that's right.
But yeah, with the t-shirt, when I travel as well, it's amazing how I never seen that before in my life. People
Yeah,
ask me, "Hey, what is Binance? I have Binance in my phone. I have Bitcoin. So,
yeah, yeah,
which is fascinating. But also, you mentioned something very important in Web3 and in crypto in general is the power of being resilient and also adapting every day. So
yeah,
I remember when I left crypto for personal reason for a year in 2019. And then when I came back, it was totally different. It was a totally different world. And then I think so that the people that make the most different in crypto and Web3 is the people that are willing to de-learn and learn something new every single day. Every
yeah,
single day we have to forget about something that we learned for the last 2 months and learn something
yeah,
new again.
yeah,
So I think so that the fast pace, and also you mentioned about the culture, meeting people around the world. Most of the people is obviously remote workers, and you can acquaint with different people like from different culture, and also um, the top executives,
yeah,
the CEO, CC, and E. They're amazing leaders, but they work really hard as well. So that's something that people don't think. Like, okay, maybe these guys they jump because Bitcoin was cheap and now they make money, but it's not like that. It's they put a lot of work and passion. And in the number one thing I think they do very well is the community building. So that's why we're here. That's how we met. I think
yeah,
so I met most of my best connection and my best friends in crypto that I met until today. I made them through Binance, which is
yeah,
crazy, right?
yeah,
Um, and then you mentioned you done quite good, decent deals in Web3, which is I find fascinating. And I've been next to you in the events, and when you mention it's like a dream come true for somebody in branding. So
yeah,
tell us about that. Let's talk about the deal that you have done with obviously with you and the team in Binance. But tell us, let's talk about, for example, the biggest TikToker in the world, the biggest football player in the world. How easy to get this done? Is a matter of weeks, a matter of months, a matter. I probably you kind of mention every single detail, but how easy and exciting is working in these deals? You mentioned something about the passion that
Yeah.
Binance compensate the passion that you have.
Yeah.
But you were very passionate about creating this deal. Tell us an example. For example, Cristiano Ronaldo, the
Yeah.
biggest Instagrammer in the whole world.
Yeah.
People in Binance Life probably follow him. I follow him. You follow him. But how was that bringing the top player in the
Yeah.
world, the most famous person, into
Yeah.
Web3?
So you're incredibly right. CZ and Yi work tremendously hard, and for me, that is always one of the most inspiring things. And then because you see their passion, that inspires you to help bring the company to new heights. And Cristiano Ronaldo, it definitely wasn't easy. I think with Cristiano Ronaldo, our goal is always to work with some of the biggest and best celebrities in the world. But we always have to understand what is mutually beneficial, as does any company. What is going to work with the celebrity or any entity you work with, and what is going to work with Binance. And these processes aren't quick; they take a tremendous amount of time. But obviously, everything in Binance happens extremely fast because we have such a degree of team centricity. So whenever something needs to be discussed, anyone in the team across multiple time zones is available to help you. And so I think the beauty of working with a celebrity such as Cristiano Ronaldo or Khaby Lame or The Weeknd is when you find a mutual fit, when you find a way that they feel comfortable about bringing of how to bring Web3 and crypto to their fans, and Binance feels comfortable about how they can support a tremendous celebrity such as Cristiano Ronaldo. We find a fit, and then when we find a fit, we bring that degree of tangibility, and naturally we bring it to paper and make these deals happen. But ultimately, these deals are about how do you embed a infrastructure, a Web3 infrastructure into the ecosystem of the celebrity. So when you think about crypto, it's not just cryptocurrency; it is NFTs. It could be metaverse. It could be GameFi. It could be fan tokens. It could be so many different things, right? And how do you bring it into the users in a way that is authentic, relevant, and relatable? And when you find the ability to do that in a way that is going to be meaningful to the end user, I believe that is when the real magic happens. And you also have to understand that many of these celebrities know their fans exceptionally well. Many of these institutions know their fans extremely well. So they already know what works for their fans and what works for their end consumers. So it's really about combining their best practice, their knowledge with our best practice, our knowledge, and forming a hybrid, strategy in terms of how we bring it to market. And that's fundamentally how these deals happen.
Well, basically, fine. This is. I'm going to ask you another question based on this last question. So, we see influencers, and this is one of the topics that we had in the 5 years anniversary of Binance, talking about how to build communities. So
Yeah.
we see influencers, and something that came to me when I joined crypto again, it was the concept of key opinion leaders. So something that you say that the the person that's going to be involved with the crypto company, or let's say the celebrity, they have to have something in common. It has to be a long-term plan, And I find these people is finding more attractive now for brands bringing somebody to become a a key opinion leader. The different for so many people that are new into crypto or into social media, an influencer is somebody that just promote a brand, like for example, promote this and get paid for promoting in the social media. But key opinion leader is somebody that promote the same product, but is attached to the brand. It has a long-term vision with it.
Yeah.
It use the product and service within the brand, and they understand the vision about where there's going. So there's so many partnerships like this. But you have seen how the social media ecosystem has changed as well
Yeah.
around crypto.
Yeah.
So for this is a question for you, so you can answer to people that been to crypto as an influencer or key opinion leaders. Um, what is the biggest takeaway that you have learned from the biggest celebrities?
Yeah.
If somebody that's getting started in social media, how
Yeah.
they can come and become like a key opinion leader or a crypto influencer. What is the best takeaway that you take from the biggest guys that have the best deals, and you can apply for somebody that's just getting started?
Yeah. Great question. So, I think with celebrities particularly, you do need to be a little bit careful because Binance always has a message which was don't trust celebrities, always do your own research. And so
Mm,
whenever we, Binance worked with celebrities, it was always in an extremely responsible, educational way. But you look at what happened in news in the last 24 hours. Kim Kardashian got fined $1.26 million by the SEC for promoting Bitcoin, which was issued and sold by Ethereum Max, right? And the reason why she got fined by the SEC is because she failed to disclose the fact that she earned $250,000 for
mm,
promoting that. And so, when the Super Bowl happened last year, Binance made a lot of press because we always said, don't listen to celebrities, do your own research. And we worked with many celebrities, and it's very public. You can see this online, such as J Balvin, which said, don't trust celebrities, do your own research. And that is the mantra, if you will, that we definitely stand behind in Binance. Celebrities are fantastic, but it takes a entity, it takes a massive infrastructure like Binance, one of the most powerful, biggest entities in the world, to partner with celebrities to naturally educate them and work with them in the way that how do you bring crypto to users in a very responsible fashion. You know, I feel a lot of celebrities have gotten some bad names because they've been involved in, projects which are potentially rug pulls or scams, and so you've got to be extremely, extremely careful. My advice to anyone would be always do your own research, always, learn yourself and educate yourself about the market, about is there genuine utility here. What is the product that is actually being promoted, and that will get you a long way. Secondly, if you yourself are looking to become a crypto influencer, yeah, I can honestly say that probably 95% of the world doesn't actually know about crypto right now. Well, or they may have heard of it, but they've not made their first purchase. So the marketing opportunity is tremendous. The best way to reach those people is it really comes down to two things. First is content and ensuring that you are educating people daily through content about what's happening in the market, about the basics. Just start because most people don't actually know. And secondly, consistency. If you are consistently showing up, it will build a level of trust. And you have to remember that crypto is always evolving. So when I started in crypto over 2 years ago, it was just crypto. Since then, there's been NFTs, there's been metaverses, there's been fan tokens, there's been GameFi's, there's been DAOs. And so if you are not constantly indulging yourself in an educational way to understand these products and services that are releasing, and if you're constantly not creating content in accordance with that, you're going to get left behind. And so there's a huge opportunity for people looking to become influencers in a very responsible educational manner to reach new audiences and educate them throughout the process as the cryptocurrency technology evolves over the next few years.
Well, that's amazing. You mentioned a couple of things that is true, but I think so also the audience. But this is one thing, Milan, that it always get my attention because the most time that we're being into crypto, the most that we know, but the less that we know at the same time. Let's call
Yeah,
it like this,
yeah,
And then we assume as OGs, let's call it OGs, that everybody knows what is Bitcoin, what is a blockchain, how to withdraw money, how to buy crypto, how to use an exchange, what is a spot, all the basic stuff. And you say something very crucial is when you're getting started, nobody like you and me, we learn crypto from probably YouTube, somebody
yeah,
told us
exactly.
how to
Yeah,
do it. But it's very important if you are an OG in crypto, go back to the basis. I think so. Back to the basis, it will pay off. And if you are somebody that have a decent amount of audience already, non-crypto related, why not start to tell the world what is crypto, but based on your own experience? I found fascinating when somebody says in social media, look, I'm going to start a diet, or I'm going to start a new program to get faster, or I'm going to
yeah,
start to know how to cook. You can do this. If you are a social media influencer, you can do the same. Start something, start with a company that's very well known, for example, Binance, and start the journey from zero to hero, from
yeah,
not understanding anything about crypto, not understanding literally how to buy Bitcoin, how
yeah,
to send or receive Bitcoin, and then take your audience step by step, and the audience will grow with you. Don't feel ashamed that you don't know anything. I
yeah,
think so. I was like that. I thought I was shy or I was embarrassed to ask. I didn't know. But now, as I say, the most I know, the less I know. Every time that I don't know anything, I ask a question. Look, I don't
yeah.
know this. And you mentioned with NFTs and everything that changed recently,
Mhm.
This is something that happened to me. When I come back to crypto, it was everything about NFTs. It was totally different. The community building was different, and also the events. It was totally different for NFT than Web3. So
Yeah,
yeah, social media is going to stay is going to stay here. But now let's talk about what is coming. How you see the market in one side, not for because I have a couple of questions here from the audience. They're asking me what to buy.
fantastic.
Everybody always asks what to buy. What shall I buy? What is
Yeah,
going on? That's from the trading side.
right.
But let's talk about how you see the branding coming into Web3 for this quarter and in the next bull run that's going to happen eventually. How you see the branding changing into crypto, because in 2016, Milan, I went to this blockchain finance summit in London, and it was only 20 people.
Yeah,
Nobody understood how, and it was for me, for example, here at home, it was not very nice to talk about crypto because people perceive it a different way. But now
exactly.
we feel proud to talk about crypto. Now it's different. Now it's like a proper industry.
Yeah.
But what would, as you as a visionary, you help to create the brand of finance as is today. What would you think happen in the next 12 months?
Yeah, so I think I think crypto happens in cycles. From what
Okay.
I've seen, it typically does happen in 2 to 3 year cycles of the bull run and bear runs. No one actually ever knows. So I always find it really, I would say, a little bit annoying when I hear like these crypto influencers saying XRP is going to go to $1,000, and I'm like, well, dude, that would put it at like a 50 trillion market cap, which is half of the global companies in the world all combined. You hear a lot of ridiculous things online, but here is the I think we're obviously in a bear market right now. Everyone knows it, and although momentum seems at its lowest, right now is the best time to build and buy, as I say. And so build your personal brand, build your education, and share it with your audiences. And share it with your audiences across a multitude of platforms. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube are the basics. But think about new platforms. Think about Rumble, think about Getter, think about TikTok. TikTok is the fastest growing platform in the entire world right now. Think about these platforms to actually, educate people and bring them into it. Secondly, buying. First of all, when it comes to buying, and I'm not a financial expert by any means, but when it comes to buying, you have to understand that, it is to some degree about diversification, right? Because like any investment, the more you diversify, the less sort of prone to risk you are. Secondly, it's about you have to realize that with crypto, the cream always rises to the top. So, which cream has risen to the top across the last 10 years? And if you look, currencies such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, they're at the top, but they're at the top for a reason, right? And so, if you're newly getting involved in crypto, I think a lot of people in the crypto community want to find the next coin that will 100x or 1000x, but that's a gambling, right? And that really sets a bad precedence for the crypto market, because then people end up losing a lot of money. That makes bad headlines and PR around the world, and then cryptocurrency, drives a degree of skepticism. But I think many people on this call. If you're on this call, you have a Binance account. It means to some degree you are a mature, savvy thinker, and therefore I believe we all have a collective responsibility to drive education in a way which is, not crazy gambling and fingers crossed and hoping that a coin goes to 1000x, although that would be nice, right? Who doesn't want that? But it's about how do you educate people in a mature way? How do you educate people in a way which is going to be safe for them? How do you educate people in a way where they're going to be self-sustainable and do their own research, but at the same time look for the hidden gems and opportunities? Because I promise you there are going to be many in the years to come. And when the next bull market happens, if you have built your own personal brand and if you've bought the right assets, you're going to be tremendously better off.
Amazing. They say like the biggest the basically to build your audience or your community in the bear market is the best way to have success in
Yeah.
the bull market, correct?
Yeah.
And you mentioned also a couple of platforms that obviously have better reach. Let's talk about social media a little bit, because this is a big thing in marketing, obviously, in community building. So we see the most successful key opinion leaders or crypto influencers is because they have massive communities, but most of them they start in the previous bear market, which is fascinating. What's going to happen in the next 3 years with the new KOLs? But let's talk about platform, because look, we're live literally in 5 platforms right now. We're live in Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Binance Live, and Twitter. And I've seen a pattern also, not only in crypto, if not also in social media. People goes and come to different platforms, depends on the mood, depending on the engagement, depending on the algorithm. I found Twitch fascinating. I find also TikTok fascinating.
Yep.
But I also find Twitter fascinating recently, like, because not everybody has the time or to create videos,
Yeah,
but
of
when
course.
everybody has to do it. But let's talk about how you see the change in the content creation for
Yeah.
crypto, and where would you put your energy? And also let's not forget obviously about Binance Live.
Yeah, no, fantastic. So I think Binance Live is a tremendously untapped opportunity because the Binance community is just fantastic, highly, highly engaged, highly excited. They want to get involved, and I love the energy of Binance Live. Each social media platform has its pros and cons. I think in order for Twitter, Twitter requires a high degree of, you know, um, I would say investment. You got to tweet probably 20, 30 times a day. You got to retweet. You got to drive conversation, and if you have the time commitment to do that, brilliant. I think TikTok mechanism is fantastic because
Mhm.
by its very nature, if you put out content, the way the algorithm is designed is that it pushes it out to so many people, and if your content is good, then it pushes it out to more people. So it's on a reward basis based on your content. I think LinkedIn is good, but LinkedIn has turned it from a very professional network, which was, the case approximately 10 years ago, to a network which is talking about proposals and babies and all this kind of strange stuff. So I do find it a little bit bizarre, if I'm honest with you, because it's driven away, it's diluted its professionalism to some degree. Um, but I would say LinkedIn has the benefit that if more people engage with your content and the more people click it, it means that you go out to their audiences. So it has a huge multiplier effect. And but you also have to remember that platforms like YouTube and Instagram, right now, if you deliver content on these platforms, it might not necessarily get the reach that LinkedIn or TikTok or maybe even Twitter does, right? So these platforms require a lot more investment. So you kind of have to think of it in tiers. You kind of have to think of the Instagram and the sort of YouTube a little bit at the bottom, then what is going to give you more brand awareness, then what is going to give you more engagement, and each one of these has its pros and cons. But my advice to anyone starting out would be start on the platform that will give you scalability and ultimately sustainability. Start with one platform. The best YouTubers, and I know so many influencers, the biggest YouTubers and influencers in the world started with one platform. As they grew and started to monetize, they started on another platform, then another. And you got to build. It's very easy to think that in day one you're going to do 1 hour of Twitter, 1 hour of TikTok, 1 hour of Instagram, but it doesn't really work like that, right? And we're seeing the development of new social media platforms gaining a lot of traction, such as Rumble, such as Getter, such as the streaming platforms you mentioned. So I would say that just start small, commit to it, build the content, and then as you gain more time and more money, you'll be able to leverage other platforms to grow even more.
Amazing. Milan, and I'm going to go back like seven topics before,
Yeah,
because there has to be something about content creation. Let's talk about TikTok, but let's talk about Khaby Lame is the name of the guy from Italy.
yeah,
Khaby Lame, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So I have heard you talking about his story many times, like how he started in the COVID pandemic, because I want to empower people that's brand new here.
yeah.
Like, he come from nothing. He was literally trapped in his house and he started to create. Can you tell his story? And then I will tell us your story very quick. But let's start
Yeah.
with and explain who is this TikToker, how many followers he has in TikTok, how he start, so people get courage to start to create content now.
Yeah, fantastic. So, I was definitely inspired by Khaby's story. That this guy is from Africa. He can't speak English very, very well. It's not his first language, and he started releasing content on TikTok. And his first, I believe, 40 TikToks never even got more than like 20, 30 views, but he stuck to it. And I think that in this day and age, if we don't see traction immediately, we get very disheartened and we want to say, oh, it's just not working. But he stuck to it. He found a niche. his niche was that he couldn't necessarily speak English. So he started pointing out something which was very obvious in a very fun and quirky way. And he used his weakness as a strength. He couldn't speak, but what he did, he couldn't speak English and communicate with people in the same way some of the biggest TikTokers could. But he used whatever he did have, and done it in a bit of a comical and funny way to bring and captivate people. And I believe the reason why people resonated with Khaby is for two reasons. The first of all, because he was authentic. He didn't try and be something he wasn't. He was just a guy who was pointing out very obvious things from the crazy, ridiculous things that we see online. And secondly, he was consistent. He never got disheartened, after 40 TikToks that didn't do well. What if it was the 50th TikTok or the 100th TikTok or the 1000th TikTok, which gives you all of the press, the fame, the viewer, the virality that you need? And so I believe as humans, we are designed to constantly learn. And as long as we commit to the path of learning, as long as we constantly understand what works, but more importantly, what doesn't work, and we're very objective with ourselves, we will continue to improve our content creation process. And that will ultimately lead to success. And by default, it has to, because as we go through the process of evolution and learning, we're going to be more and more aligned, and our brains are constantly going to learn as to what works. And I think for anyone listening to this, stay committed, be authentic. And I fundamentally believe that every single person listening to this has a niche, has something unique to share with the world. You have to believe you do, and you have to find a way to share it in a funny and authentic and engaging way.
That's amazing. Milan, you are such an amazing guy. You bring so much energy into Web3 and also into social media. Um, we're about to wrap up, but I want, before we go, I have a surprise for you at the end. I have to show you for you, and I have a surprise for you. But let's talk about Milan. So we talk about Web3, we talk about social media, but Milan, you have traveled the world so many. How many countries have you visited?
So you know what? I've genuinely lost count, but probably between 50 to 100, I would say. You
Oh
know,
wow!
yeah.
What was the country that you didn't expect it was going to be that magnificent or that different? Probably for me, for example, was Kazakhstan. Somebody told me, and then you have to go to Kazakhstan, and business said, no, it's not going to be nice. And then I went there and said, Almaty, Kazakhstan, Astana. It's a beautiful country, beautiful people, beautiful food. What was the country that you didn't expect was going to be that good?
That's a great question. Many countries have given me tremendous gifts and insights, right? I remember when I first went to Croatia, I was blown away by the beauty of the natural landscapes. When I went to Mexico and learned with the shamans of Mexico, I was blown away by their culture and their authenticity and their respect for their heritage. When I learned some of the ancient secrets from the monks in Tibet and Asian countries, I was blown away by some of the secrets of the universe they held. When I went to India and I realized that India was a country which has tens of thousands of years of history, and how it went from being one of the least developed countries when after colonization, to now even beating the United Kingdom, right? And
Mhm.
how they've managed to do that in a beautifully chaotic manner. I think different countries give me different perspectives about their savviness and many things. And even when I went to Bali, I've been a remote worker for over 7 years, and I've always traveled the world. But Bali was, a place that was just so adaptable to what people wanted, and it took its niche, which was its degree of natural beauty, and it brought it to people in a way that made them feel special. And I think that and I believe Dubai is genuinely like that. I believe that Dubai is where a lot of the energy is, it's where a lot of the people are, it's where a lot of the money is right now, and it's where a lot of the innovation is. And I think that's what makes also Dubai a fantastic country. So different countries have their beauties. I've been blown away by many elements of what aligns with us as human beings. But whatever resonates with you, I'm sure there's a country out there for it.
Amazing. Milan, thank you so much for being here and
My pleasure.
to spread the energy about traveling, Web3, remote working, hard work, partnership, branding, social media. I create Crypto OGs with my good friend Andre Kayanet. And we have conversation that you're going to come also as in Crypto OGs. But everybody that coming to Crypto OG is going to get a surprise, a
Yeah.
prize, a gift. So we have 4 guests so far. You're the number 4. I'm going to give you a free NFT of your favorite animal. So I'm going to show you right now. And the idea that we create the Crypto OGs Foundation, or we do an event, a charity event, and then we all the money that we collect, we'll give it to charity. Okay. So let me just show you
Fantastic.
your. Andre Kayan is the artist that created this. I want to show you. Let me see. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's just loading.
Okay.
Oh
So
wow,
this
that
is
is
your
very
NFT.
beautiful.
That will this you told us is peacock. It's a
Yeah,
peacock. In
that's correct.
Spanish, pavo real. Why do you like the peacocks?
You know, the peacock has many symbolisms in many cultures globally, but the peacock is known as an animal that turns poison into beauty. The peacock's feathers, and when it spreads its wings, is one of the most beautiful animals in the world. And so, you know, the peacock has been known to eat poisonous insects, poisonous snakes, poisonous things, and turn them into something truly magnificent and beautiful. And I believe as we live in a world where we are driven by a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, a lot of panic attacks, a lot of negative press, negative media, negative financial systems. We always have to consume all of this and condition ourselves and our character and our minds to flourish as human beings, irrespective of how much, many things that might not be in our favor are working against us. And I believe that because life is sort of a process of growth, through the process of human evolution, I believe that we can all grow to be beautiful human beings. And therefore, the peacock is symbolic of that growth, of turning something potentially negative and consuming negative or poisonous insects and beings, and then turning into a beautiful animal itself. So that's why I love the peacock.
Wow, this is amazing. I didn't know about this. In Spanish called pavo real. We
Yeah.
had a bunch of them in my country. I never understood this concept. I think that this is the biggest takeaway amongst always like crypto and Web3 and social media. This is what you say, taking the negative and putting it into positive.
Yeah.
Milan, where can people find you if they want to send you a DM? Obviously, you're going to join Binance Live. You just joined it, but tell us your Twitter, your Instagram, and your Binance Live handle.
Yeah, absolutely. So my Instagram handle is milan.amin. So my first name is Milan, Milan, just like the city. My surname is Amin, Amin. So on Instagram, I sort of post more about my travel and my experiences. On Twitter, I'm Milan Amin Crypto. I'm just getting started, guys, so please bear with me on these platforms. So I don't really have many followers right now, but I aim to add as much value to you guys as possible and answer any questions. So you can find me on Twitter at Milan Amin Crypto. On TikTok, I'm starting to post daily crypto news, and I'm starting to ask some of the most widely asked questions on Google about cryptocurrency. So you can find me at Milan_Amin on TikTok, where I'll be posting daily content and sharing my insights and thought leadership with the world. So these are the platforms that I'm at. I'm happy to answer any questions, and I look forward to connecting with more people around the world.
And also, we're going to do a very soon crypto quiz with Milan in Binance Live. So
Let's do it.
what is your username in Binance Live?
I'm still to set it up, but I'm sure that we'll work.
I will
with
let you know, guys, when it comes on to live. I will let you know what is Milan, so you can follow him also, because we have about 3,000 people watching in Binance Live right now. So
Fantastic.
say hello to all the Binance, and there's people from everywhere: Bangladesh, Belarus, everywhere. Like this have a long list, but. Milan, thank you so much.
It's my
People
pleasure.
love the stream today, and
Thank you.
I hope to see you very soon in one of the events. And
Yep.
thank you for bringing the energy, the positivism, and the knowledge into Web3. And guys, I'll see you in the next episode of Crypto OGs. And thank you for tuning in. See you soon.
Brilliant. Thank you for
Bye-bye.
having me. Thanks, guys. Bye bye.